Hello there. I welcome you to another episode of The Love Laboratory. I'm your host, Adebayo Ilupeju. Well, relationships have been going on. Some have been getting smoother, cooler, and more enjoyable. Well, a few others have hit the rocks. But our job here is to actually help you navigate your way through your relationships and get the best out of it. Of course, we love happy relationships. I'll be right back. Today we'll be looking at just four of the reasons why there is always that communication gap in your relationship. Yes, a lot of times we tend to misunderstand ourselves, we tend to hold back, we tend even not to eventually trust ourselves anymore. And there's quite a number of reasons responsible for this, but I'll be harping on just four of them. And as usual, I'll expect that you will also come back to educate us with some of these things that you know, and then how to actually get better relationships. Have you seen the role of technology in our lives today? Have you seen how much people are being disconnected because of technology? Well, too much screen time, which is as a result of our telephones, our TVs. We enjoy watching our best series, our best Nollywood, our best Hollywood flicks. We spend a bit too much time on the phone, thereby detaching ourselves from the reality of our lives. We move so far apart because you are on the phone scrolling through social media or watching Netflix, Prime, or any of those places, forgetting that you have a live partner right there by your side. And gradually, we drift apart. Taking a break from your screen time can boost your relationship by a very large extent. And so I suggest that you now try to regularize your screen times, be more deliberate about it, and put limits to how much time you spend. It's very easy. I get lost on my phone sometimes, but realizing that we are not alone, our partner is here, would always at least bring us back to reality, and then we play our role in the relationship. And if you have to even go by way of the screen time, you might want to engage your partner in some of the things that you find exciting in the course of your screen time. Take note. Listening. Some of us have poor listening skills. Well, listening has different ways that it comes, but it is important to be able to listen properly. You listen, you hear, you digest and process, and you respond. Also, in the course of trying to do this, you may appear detached. So, of course, listening and thinking has to be rapidly done. And so, when you're listening, you have to process in real time so that your partner doesn't feel like they have been left alone. When you listen properly, you are able to get the cues into what your partner is trying to pass across. You are also able to clearly get the message. Not to be in a hurry to respond, but to be able to digest and understand. When you're in too much of a hurry to respond, in fact, don't even be, it's often taken to be defensiveness. You have to avoid being defensive, and the best way to do this is by listening properly. Sometimes, when you are in that defensive mode, the likelihood that you are going to misconstrue the message being passed by your partner is very high. And this usually would lead to arguments, would lead to chaos, and maybe so many other negative feelings. Learn to listen properly. But more interestingly, you listen actively. That's like passing cues that you are getting the message. And at the end of it all, you might just want to rephrase what your partner has said to ensure that you have clearly gotten the message. Let's see if this works for you. Try it sometime. Oh, this one is a big one, and practically everyone is guilty of it. But learning to quickly detach yourself from it will help your relationship a whole lot. Keeping score. Keeping score may be as a result of money not well spent, decision hastily taken, lack of empathy, maybe. When you keep score, it actually slows you down. It drags you back in time. And some of the things that you are keeping in your scoreboard are actually things that are long gone or are inconsequential things. It's always better to be in the now, especially if whatever it is probably a mistake or whatever it is, you talk it over and you move on. When you keep scores, it befogs the future. You are unable to see clearly. And of course, when you're keeping score, you're likely to want to take revenge. And so you are going to do irrational things to your partner. And eventually, you break. There's the breakdown of law and order. It's not a wise thing to do to keep score. And if you must be keeping scores, you want to keep scores on, oh, he bought me a gift, I haven't bought him a gift back. Oh, she bought me that Rolex or something, and I need to get her something bigger. If your scores are like that and you're scoring that way, I think it's actually more romantic that way. You remember, you are not in a competition with your partner, you are in a relationship. You are not in it to win or anything, so you are not saving scores to come back and get a higher score or something. But when it's these positive vibes, gifting, nobody ever says no to gifts unless they are big gifts, or what do they call it? Oh, I used to be really good at this one, hiding my feelings. But it never really got me anywhere. It was more like it got me into more troubles. Yes, I used to kind of, well, maybe it was, should I call it ego, that manliness or something. But I think it was silly of me all those years that I was always hiding my feelings. The best way to keep a relationship going is by actually being open about your feelings. How do I mean? I don't mean to be rude, but if you don't like something that your partner has done, it's just best that you hit it up straight. Put it on the table. I don't like this. I prefer this. Or why not do it that way? Of course, you are doing this not in a harsh way so that you don't even compound the situation. You're just doing your best to let your partner see you for who you truly are. But avoid being rude, avoid foul languages, avoid abusive words. You can always make your point without being rude, and it goes both ways. Choose your words wisely. You might want to start to get, maybe you get an AI to teach you the right words to use in your relationship. But sincerely, it is important to take note of this. Okay, so this is beyond me now. Casual jealousy. There's hardly any human being that would say boldly that they don't have an iota of jealousy in them. But we need to put a check on all these things. We need to put a check on jealousy, particularly. Being jealous sometimes can be sexy, can be attractive, can actually put spice in your relationship. But you need to know when to put, when to hold yourself back or when to put caution to it. Casual jealousy can be personified by those suspicions when the message drops on your partner's phone. You want to know who sent that message. When your partner smiles at somebody, you're already suspecting foul play. You just suspect about virtually every action. You want to know who sent a mail. You want to know who's on the phone. You want to know this. You want to know that. When it becomes too much, what it leads to is that your partner will gradually withdraw regulate communications. And when communications are regulated to that extent, there's the likelihood that things that you were afraid of might actually crop up eventually. And in this case, it's not going to be in your presence because your partner is constantly being cautious of you, while avoiding calls when you're around, or probably they even give the signal to whoever is calling at different times to they tell them when best to call. And so some of these crises, we are often responsible for them because of our jealousy. There's a limit to everything. Your partner have their own lives to live, and you, so do you. And so you must always draw a limit. It's okay to be jealous, but you must know that there's a limit. That's just the bottom line. There are far too many reasons why there are communication problems in marriages, in relationships, in engagements. But we can only do our best to work out the best ways of dealing with our situations. These points are just few of the many that are out there. If you know any other one, or if you know even many other ones, please do well to leave a comment below and tell us what these points are. What should we look out for? How do we mitigate them? Again, here's wishing you a happy relationship. See you next time.